Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 4 with another team adventure. Today's is all about muscle cars versus tuner cars. Now this is using the muscle versus tuner category that is on Forza, which has some weird inclusions and slightly odd admissions, but we're working with what we've got. I'm driving a Chrysler Valiant with an engine swap. It's a little bit odd, but I'm hoping it's going to be quite a good car. I used this for something a while back. Can't remember what. And yeah, I had it lying around. Figured it would be good to go for this. Now, I have about 400 and a bit horsepower. Rear-wheel drive with some lovely rally tyres. I know for a fact that Ninetales in the Skyline has the most... Well, I say no for a fact. Ninetales has 1,000 horsepower with a Skyline. That is going to be the fastest thing down the straights. There is no doubt about it. All the muscle cars will be beaten by the Skyline that is actually about to come soaring past us. There's no point. I don't want to get crashed into. That thing is so fast. Now, the downside for the Skyline is it has very skinny tyres. Well, it is on rally tyres, apparently. It has very skinny tyres. It won't have much grip. It will be horrible when it comes to the dirt. Yes, it has rally tyres, but that much power on those smaller tyres? I know in real life small tyres are okay for rallying, but this is Forza. Big tyres rule in the world of Forza. That probably won't be that much fun, although it might still have the power to get away with some of the circuits. We'll have to wait and see, really. It is also an incredibly difficult car to drive at the end of the day. Mistakes are much easier to be made in a car like that than in, let's say, my Valiant. My Valiant, relatively simple. The teams are also, as you saw, sorted, so it is actually muscle versus tuner in the team standings. So hopefully, well, muscle cars can win. We're having a good start so far. We're 1,000 points to the good. Now this course is going to change as the race goes on. But the first lap's never always the best place to judge. Can we get the power down? I mean, we get the power down with minimal amount of wheel spin. Ninetales is wiggling, but will quickly shoot into the distance. I spot behind there is a Glisco fighting with a Buick, was it a GSX? There comes the Datsun. Datsun might get up to third. I might have to worry about that Datsun, you know. I don't really want to have to worry about the Datsun, but we might have to at some point. Seems like the Daytona is not bad down the straights. We're going to jump down that section. Yeah, I mean, lap time wise, I don't know if me and Ninetales are all that different. It's just I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get past that Skyline. If I pass it, it'll just immediately repass me as soon as we get to a straight. Here comes the Datsun as well. Oh, something happened to the Datsun. Either spun or missed a checkpoint or got pushed. Again, I didn't see what happened. That is going to put a dampener, shall we say, on Blue Team's chances. I mean, Blue Team would have been hoping for Datsun up in a podium and Clark to recover some points for, again, I presume a missed checkpoint. I think he's driving the Nismo GTR LM thing. So yeah, that's not gone. It's not gone well. It's not a good start for the tuner cars. They might be winning the race. However, it isn't really going to plan. I'm surprised I have more speed than the Daytona. Here comes the Buick. That has more speed than all of us. It might well become a three-way battle over second. It might well be the battle of the best of the muscle cars, because none of us can quite... In fact, Stinty's catching with the Oldsmobile as well. It's going to be, I think, a battle for the best of the rest over second place. I've not had a particularly great lap here, which isn't really helping matters. Carry as much speed as I dare through that corner. Okay, I don't think the Buick is as good through the turns. I think that's a little bit of a handful. In fact, the Buick's actually fallen back behind the Oldsmobile as well. Got a couple more laps to go to try and fend off. Yeah, sadly we're not quite a match for the 1,000 horsepower. I also had a disconnect that I didn't notice go on. That will... In some ways it kind of helps us a smidge in that it's taking away points almost from Ninetales, especially if our car was down the back. It just yeah, takes away some points from Blue Team. Sometimes the team with the lesser cars are actually at a slight advantage with the way the point system... Can be at a slight advantage with the way the point system works. Here comes the Oldsmobile. That does look quite fast down the straights. Where is it going to want to go? In fact, it's to the inside before I can even get across. I will outhandle it. The problem is, around the outside there is so risky. Can I have a big dive here? again, I can out-handle it, but it's trying to find a way past it that's the problem, especially when you've got the size tyres that car will have. It will just... yeah, that's the issue we get now. We carry so much speed through the corners, we end up in the back of it and we lose time, and then it will run away on the straights, and I can't really slow it down on that bit. So, yeah, this might be a little bit too much of an open track for my car, perhaps, to really shine. Crow's fallen to the bottom of the field with a Corvette, I believe, not having a good time. Again, there may have been some missed checkpoints. This is a track that is notoriously easy. Judging by the group that we have going on, I'm going to hazard a guess there might be a group of cars battling to be best of those that missed a checkpoint somewhere along the line. It's, well, the way it goes sometimes. Yes, let us go to Bandor Castle. In fact, we're going there as the final race that we do, funnily enough. Well, the muscle cars are going to, barring massive amount of missed checkpoints, going to take a victory on this one. We are going to claim a victory. I'm pleased with my Valiant. It does seem to be pretty good. It's nice to drive. It's easy enough to drive. Might perhaps lack the overall speed, possibly. But it's definitely a solid point-scoring car. At technical circuits, I think it'll come into its own. I hope, at least... It's relatively light for a muscle car. It's not quite as light as it was. I was trying to keep the engine in it, but it's £2,700, which isn't bad, really, for this sort of car. I'll take a third. It's a start. Muscle cars win round number 1. Let's hope we can keep this up. So, race number 2, and we will be heading off-road. The Lakehurst Woodland Scramble will be the circuit of choice for this one. Now... the Skyline might still be quite fast here. Skyline might still be quite quick. There are 2 long straights. The big hill is the concerning area, potentially. I should be okay. Might not be... it might not be too bad. As I said, I should work. I'm just not going to have any crazy... strengths, really. Now, a couple of the tuner cars, of course, may well be all-wheel drive. I would expect quite a few of them might be all-wheel drive here. This isn't the most significant circuit in terms of all-wheel drive being advantageous for off-road, seeing as it's quite a lot of tarmac and the dirt stuff is relatively fast. While there is a hairpin that the all-wheel drive will be much better getting out of. Oh... got a little crowded in there. Someone pinged the wall and that kind of stopped all of us. Yeah, there's a little bit of an advantage to the all-wheel drive, of course, out here. Some of the muscle cars could have been converted. There wasn't any rules about not allowing the muscle cars to be converted. Mine isn't. Mine is still very much rear-wheel drive. I would expect most of them may well still be rear-wheel drive. We're going to barrel down. Clark is... I mean... that's ambitious, I think, is the words to say there. I just missed the braking and has let everyone go. At least, yeah, that's some ambition. Right there. We will try and sneak up the inside as we head back onto the... oh, it wasn't a GTR, no, it's just an R33, I think, actually. For some reason, my brain thought it was the race one. It's difficult to build. It might not even get in this category, to be fair. A really difficult car I found to get that working. I think it can be very fast if you get it right. I have just tended to struggle. Seems like muscle cars doing quite well here. Muscle cars are doing quite well. I'm not going to get around the outside of the GTO at that particular section. We're going to try and run up the hill. I mean, we've been kind of stuck in traffic a little bit through a lot of this, not being able to really make too much progress. Oh, well, where do we go? I'm surrounded by Japanese cars. Ninetales may have rally tyres, but that much power through the very small rear wheels is not working all that much. There was Buick bouncing off a wall and doing a little bit of an endo. I want to just not be surrounded by Japanese boxes. I mean, we're not actually that... the leader's gone. That might well be an all-wheel drive car. Certainly, whatever it is, it's long gone into the distance. Might have just been staying in clean air, to be honest. Clean air probably works wonders for a car, not gonna lie. Red team have got some good points. The Oldsmobile seems to be struggling a little bit more at this circuit. Does not quite have the grip. It is a very heavy car, that Oldsmobile. I've tried building, I've tried using them before. They never really worked all that well for me personally. it was certainly quick at that previous track, but yeah, this might not be a venue that it enjoys quite as much. We will jump on the brakes for turn number 1. What can we do? What can we do? Blue team, sadly, the tuner cars do not seem to be working here. Surprises me a little bit, actually. Surprises me that the likes of the Skylines and so on are not quite working here, especially with, you know, potentially that little driveline advantage. We're going to not wiggle our way too much down here. I think maybe second is even doable. I think my Valiant has some pretty good speed around here. Again, over the course of a lap, it's pretty decent. It doesn't really like getting going on these dirt corners, which is fair enough. It's whether we can keep it all together. There goes the GTO, and that traction there is impressive. Again, points-wise is just too many in our favour at the moment. Too many points are going the way of the muscle cars. Not that that's a bad thing. Yeah, okay, so Stinty's car doesn't work. Wherever that Oldsmobile has gone, that is plummeting through the field. It is just not having a good time. So now who has got the second who's got the second best car? We ignore the leader. Stallions won it with that Daytona. That's long gone, barring controller disconnection. We're pretty much not catching that. It's what is better out of this little group. I didn't expect the Corvette to come flying past, and that's kind of screwed me. I didn't expect the Corvette to be close enough to try that, and I was a smidge early on the brakes, and I've now messed that up. Whoops. Alright, now we're going to go fight with the Skyline, are we? I will have a think about a big dive up there. Wanted to, didn't quite work. This might be enough at least to keep second in our hands as well. The GTO is a little bit escaping away from this. Get back past the Corvette, but I'm going to have a big issue here. Get back in a straight line, you bugger. Ninetales is making the Skyline do things of some description. I bet the Skyline's not going to enjoy this bit. I don't even know if third gear was a good idea out of there. Ninetales has had an up and down race. I don't know whether there might have been some missed checkpoints involved, possibly, with such an up and down race. And it could explain quite a lot with that. And yeah, you like pull a massive gap and then Ninetales immediately catches it up on the next straight. That's some ridiculous differences in vehicle speed, if you like, where the cars are gaining lap speed. The hill is going to be the real killer for a lot of us against that vehicle. Right, one more time around. Can I do anything about maybe getting a podium? I think if I had a clean race, I think I have a car capable of a podium if I could have driven a clean race, but a couple of mistakes, a little bit snared in traffic, just couldn't make it work. Now we've got to worry about the ballistic missile that is the 1,000 horsepower Skyline. We will defend our way up here because I can do that, and I know we'll be better on the dirt. I don't know whether we're going to be able to get anybody past that for any more points. Not that we really need them. We're quite comfortable out here. It has very much gone our way on the dirt. Just don't miss a checkpoint now. Don't overdrive the hairpin, as tempting as it is trying to chase that car ahead. Don't need to do anything stupid. We know they've got better launch out of these hairpins than I do. Just focus on being as far away from the mad machine as we possibly can be. Around onto the tarmac we go for the final time. In fact, the mad machines almost drop back behind Clark's Skyline. It won't matter because they'll get out dragged towards the finish line. We are around the last turn now. Blue team have clawed some points back. Blue team have really clawed some points back in there, but it is not going to be enough to prevent us. When we have a 1-2, it's not enough. It's not enough for them to claw back some points there. The muscle cars win the second round. So, we move next to a street circuit. The Edinburgh Station Circuit will be the venue of choice here. There might well be nicer for the tuner cars. We'll have to wait and see. There isn't really... Let's say it's not really the long straights, although we've got to then bear in mind that the blue team have the fastest car down the straights. Don't really know here. A lot of stop-start corners, or a lot more sort of low-speed stop-start corners might work for some of the all-wheel drive cars. Although the massive tyres that we have in the muscle cars, does seem to, on the most part, really do the trick. The massive tyres on these means the traction advantage of the all-wheel drive cars isn't much. Now, I am pretty sure Whiska's Datsun is on race tyres. Around this circuit, that might well be untouchable, to be honest with you. With that much grip, with most of us running rally tyres, that thing will probably get to the lead and bugger off. Oh! The Oldsmobile was in the fence. It's going to get crowded up here. Muscle cars going side by side is always a sketchy time for everybody. That's Stinty in the Armco, the barrier a little bit through there. We will come out the other side of this relatively okay. Glisker and Clark are going to battle for the lead. I'm carrying a bit of debris with me until it glitches, until it vanishes, until it despawns, if you will. We're going to defend up. I say defend up there. That's also slightly defensive. Also, brake slightly early because I'm not 100% sure what my car is going to be capable of and what it's not going to like around here yet. The Datsun has got to the lead, as I thought it might do, and starting to maybe begin to pull away a smidge. Cody took out the railing, loses a bunch of speed for doing that. Yeah, you don't want to touch those railings. The railings cause a lot of grief through some of these corners. Yeah, blue team have just got a bunch of cars at the back, struggling at the moment. They've got some decent fast cars. Stinty wants to try and have a pass there. In the end, we were going to be in trouble. I want to get involved in this. I want to get involved in this. The problem is I'm going to now get slowed down in this. Yeah, I am the one with the handling muscle car that gets stuck behind all of the non-handling muscle cars. It would be annoying if it wasn't the fact we had a pretty big points advantage anyway. You know? I say that. Blue team are a little bit closer. We've got to watch out. We can't afford Ninetales sneaking up and scoring some points with the Mad Machine. Which it might be able to do. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that might be able to sneak up and cause some grief for us, depending on how things go. Depending on yeah, if we can just keep it out of the wall. It's not an easy car to drive. That I know the difficulties of driving those sort of cars, especially with the tiny tyres that thing will have, and the amount of power that's going on. At a circuit like this, it's not ideal. Both me and Stinty hit the wall. Through there. I'm very glad I didn't get stuck on the end of the tyre wall or on the end of the barrier like I have done a couple of times in the past. Don't hit the building. You can hit the plant pots, that doesn't matter. Just don't hit the building. That's what we need. I mean, blue team can only really, maybe if they can get 10th, they could potentially score some more points. Again, it's not helped as such by... Oh, okay, that's not so great for us. Oh no, the pissing lamppost. Well, that is giving blue team a lot. I turned into that corner, a lamppost hit the corner of my car and just fired me past the checkpoint. I thought the game was going to be kind and give me the checkpoint, but that it did not, and blue team will win this one. I don't think I have time to recover. So not only did I was about to say blue team have already got one position they can gain on the final lap, and now it's all gone horribly wrong. I got street furnitured and Cody hit a building. Not a good combination for a final lap. Oh, no, overdriven there. Yeah, I mean, I was going to have to overdrive the car. There wasn't much else I could do at this point. I was also about to say that blue team have been a little bit, I say, screwed over by the points with one of our cars disconnected, perhaps not one of our faster cars. It makes it difficult for them to pick up points or potential points in some races. So, yeah. In the end, it didn't matter. The gaming gods decided to rectify that. Oh, come on, debris. Please get out of the way of my car. For some reason, I thought, I read that as 4 hours. I don't know. I'm blind, probably. I might be able to get the GTO on this lap. But even if I do that, we need a miracle elsewhere. If I get the GTO and Cody gets Ninetales, we could possibly do it, but that relies on me getting the GTO and Cody passing Ninetales, I think. Which might not be impossible, but also it looks like Buick is going the wrong way. Come on, Valiant. We can do this. We can do this. No, we can't. Well, that was I was already in the wall, I think, on that point. Yeah, that was always going to be a problem. My best bet is going to be doing that. Yeah, I knew the GTO was going to... I suspected the GTO was going to probably overcommit a little bit. I was just trying to get as good a run as I could onto the back straight to pass the car ahead. It didn't work. in the end, well, slightly unfortunate for us around there, but still the muscle cars lead 2-1. So, next we head to Tarn Howell's Scramble Circuit. Now this is a more, perhaps demanding off-road circuit than our previous venue. The all-wheel drive traction may well help some of the majority of the tuner cars in places. There is a lot more dirt here, of course. A little bit lower speed, I guess. Overall, a lower speed, perhaps, around this circuit. My car's fairly decent at the dirt. You know, I couldn't really complain too much about the Valiant. I do think this might be back to one of those pretty consistent overall, but never really spectacular enough. I mean, we should have been much better at Edinburgh. That was a mistake by me, aided by a little bit of unfortunate placed street furniture. Yeah, this is kind of a solid, maybe sort of lower rungs of the podiums. Could get a win with a little luck and a bit of perfect track and everything, but ultimately never quite the fastest car. But it's the kind of car that you want on your team, but you want to have the faster car. It's the kind of car that you know will score you some pretty good points, but he's never really going to win. Oh, well. Oh, find a gear. Don't crash into Stinty and Gliska. It's not gone well. You know what I said about scoring consistent points? Well, now we have some work to do. So I know there's a bump out there. I've never had a car that rolled on it, but that one there, I was not expecting or prepared for that. That's less than ideal. That is far less than ideal. Well, a track that, again, should have been good for me. It's a shame I couldn't have got it going. Unfortunately, we just stalled out a little bit while trying to get going. I stalled out a little bit, and I was trying not to end up clattering into Gliska and Stinty that were setting off. I think they might not have good tyres for this. Okay, so the Valiant falls over. I think it is safe to say the Valiant just falls over. I don't know why. I mean, it's on rally suspension, but it's no higher than any other car of this type. So I'm not quite sure why. Crow's car doesn't seem particularly good on the dirt either. Might be on vintage race tyres, to be fair. That could explain some of it. Ninetales is predictably having a terrible time of it. With all of that power, this is a circuit that the Skyline will not work on. Off it goes! I don't know if it goes in a straight line by the time we get to the final corner. That's the only bit of tarmac, and the Skyline can't even go in a straight line down there. Yeah, that's not gonna enjoy life around this circuit. We might be able to pick up some more points. I mean, points-wise, it's not going to be enough. Oh, Crow's gone wandering off as well. That's us really doubly screwed. I need to be getting up into the better positions, but I'm a little too far back. Could we catch Purple Petrol? Maybe, if I have a really, really good run through these next couple of laps. As I said, I think my car is pretty good at this sort of circuit. We could definitely be in the fight. Maybe not quite at the very front, but we could probably be in the fight. It's not gonna be this time around. So don't hit the outside bit. I mean, you kind of want to be as far across there as you can, because that's where the racing line goes, of course, but as we've learned, too far around, there is a big old dip, I guess, big old bit of terrain to give you grief. Throw my car into the final corner. That was quite a lot of concern. We might end up missing the checkpoint. It doesn't look like we're closing. It's not by much. It's not by enough, I don't think. Either we're going to get there... Well, basically, we're either going to get there on the final lap, at the end of the final lap, and not be able to do anything, or... it's going to be very, very close. I don't actually think I want to take that line with this car. That line feels a bit too risky of falling over. I actually don't really make all that much time with a little bit of a sneaky jump. Yeah, we might get there. It's not going to be enough points-wise anyway, even if we do. We need some more points somewhere, especially not if Crow ends up losing out to Gliska around here. I'm just going to keep it in third, minimise some wheel spin on the exit there. Right, can we get a 6th place? We definitely turned better coming on to this section. We've got a lap to find a way past the GTO. Can we do it? I mean, it's going to try and go past the GTO that got us in trouble last time. But we don't go around the outside of that corner heading on to the tarmac, pretty much. We are going to have a look anywhere we can. Turn 1, not going to... It might happen. GTO really struggled to get turned in there. Unfortunately, not quite the space to get my car through there. Now, be aware of the bump. We've already seen it cause me grief once down here. We're going to take a slightly different line to try and avoid it. That GTO is having a horrible time. We've got a big twitch. Thank you. I'll take that. Things have gone wrong for us up ahead, unfortunately. Our cars have fallen off the podium. Blue team are getting a 1, 2, 3, and we cannot counter that. Sadly, we are going to be... Oh, okay, I didn't actually think I was far enough across to ding it that time. Yeah, that's unfun. Very unfun indeed. Well, the Valiant was good. A little bit unlucky. It's 2 races in a row now. We've got slightly unlucky. As is the way it goes sometimes. But we still did score some solid points, so I wasn't technically wrong about that. So, for our final race, we head to the Bandor Circuit. We might see a skyline shoot off into the distance around here. It is quite possible. The long start-finish straight, kind of quite long secondary straight. This might be a track where we see that car vanish. The battle for second could be interesting. I have a nice spot on the grid, which will work hopefully well for the Valiant. My car is more based for the handling parts of this circuit, so it might not be the fastest of the muscle cars. We shall see. As we say, we're going into turn 1. I think the GSX is going to get us just with sheer power. With any luck, we might... Oh, that curve there is horrible in this. For some reason, the Valiant has some big issues with a couple of the curbing-related things, bumpy-related things, which is unusual. I don't know why this car in particular. There's some cars I can understand, I can expect. The little 695 Abarth, for example, is notorious for falling over. One of the most rolly cars in the game, perhaps. I can kind of understand that. Very short wheelbase kind of tool. Makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, Valiant Charger? Nope, not really. Well, this is the deciding round as well, I should point out here. Whoever wins this will win the adventure overall. After the mess that we've had a little bit. Yeah, things have swung this way. There's the Corvette. That speed makes me suspect that might be some vintage race tyres on that car. It was really bad off-road, and that top end suggests it's got a lot more power. The only way you get that is vintage race, and the fact it's struggling through these corners, because rally tyres are better on tarmac than the vintage race tyres. We're going to duck back and repass the Datsun as we continue to sit in second. The Buick is a little too fast for me. I don't think I can do much about that, but I can possibly cause some trouble. Say cause some trouble. We can possibly defend from the Datsun, even if it is only slow the Datsun down long enough that the Buick can get an unassailable lead. That's something. Even if the Datsun does get past me, which as it gets to the inside, I just don't have the grip to fight that. Will we have the straight line speed? Possibly not. Oh, there we go. We have a better top end than the Datsun. Datsun has me beaten acceleration, but outside at turn 1, that's brave. If we'd continued with that move, I would have ended up in the fence. So, yeah, I think the only choice there, sadly, was to have a little bit of a lift and just fall back in line. Hope to pick up the pieces somewhere if there's a little mistake. But, yeah, not quite. What have we got behind us? The Skyline isn't quite flying. I don't know how much... I doubt the Skyline doesn't really get stuck in traffic. With a car that fast in terms of straight line speed, the Skyline won't get stuck in traffic because it's so slow through the corners. It's not going to be slowed down by anybody being in front of it, pretty much. The Buick's now having fun times with the Datsun. We're going to go wide and clip the wall a little bit. That was foolish. Here comes that Skyline. There is nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is make it a smidge more awkward, but it's really... Okay, the Skyline is good. Oh, Christ, did not realise there was a Corvette going to be following past on that outside. I do apologise. I was busy watching the Skyline wobble its way towards turn 1 and just went back towards a normal racing line. Sorry, I was distracted by the warp speed Nissan, and it was very much a warp speed Nissan down there. It's quite funny to watch it wiggle, and it's still not going in a straight line. It's still not putting its power down yet, as we will sneak our way past. Oh, it's going to get past us regardless of what we do there. Off it goes. Will it be wiggling its way into this corner? Yeah. The problem I get now is that now we get compromised all the way through here, and the Skyline doesn't care if it's compromised because it's rubbish through that section. That's annoying. And off it goes. Now the warp speed wiggle will continue off towards possibly a second place. Even if the Skyline gets second, I think we're still okay for points. Stinty's having a rubbish time. I think that may be a missed checkpoint related one, as that has fallen it's quite a long way back, and I would expect that Oldsmobile to work better at this track. Of the tracks we've gone to, this one much more like the first circuit, and the Oldsmobile was pretty decent there. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's slowed down. This is the final lap now. It's going to come down to whether our Buick can be far enough away from the Skyline on the run to the finish. Possibly. Might be able to do it. I'm pretty much sat in the 4th position, pretty much locked in with the 4th position. The Corvette might be getting close to us, but I don't think will pass us before the finish line. Here we go, out of the last corner. Watch the Skyline fly. The Datsun will win. It looks like the Skyline's going to get second as well. So the tuner cars get a 1-2 here, but we get a bigger chunk of the points. In the mid-pack, we get a 4th position with the Valiant. As I said, it's just a solid, good point-scoring car. Just not quite the fastest car there, really, at anything. We will take victory in the adventure. The muscle cars will win. Unfortunately, the Forza servers will not. Yeah, I like the Valiant. It's dependable, but ultimately not quite the very fastest of options, but it certainly worked. And it's nice and easy to drive. So there is always that, barring some oddities, shall we say. That is going to be it for this video. If you'd like to take part in the next one of these, you can sign up via our forums. There'll be a link in the description of this video. Find the FailRace versus the community section, and you can sign up in there. That, though, shall be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.